Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers assault, retaliatory arrests, and the right to film, and is brought to us by This Is a Public Services and Truth Be Told Audits' channels. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. This will be another double feature episode, so be sure to stick around and check out our coverage of both of today's interactions. In a video posted on April 23rd, 2023, auditors Daniel Telos of the Truth Be Told Audit YouTube channel and Michelle Garner of the Michelle's Mobile Media YouTube channel visited the Walthall County Sheriff's Office in Tylertown, Mississippi to film and obtain information about filing a complaint against an officer. After receiving the necessary forms, Mr. Telos and Ms. Garner exited the sheriff's office and continued to film.
Oh, let these people pull in. Yeah, this is the city hall over here, apparently. See, they're in there laughing and cutting up.
Are you dropping up? Oh, you're smoking in a vehicle. Oh my gosh. That's terrible.
As opposed to wearing a badge and a gun,
Yeah.
driving around in a marked car.
Well, we don't mind all that.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's part of the job description.
What are y'all filming?
Got it. You right now.
I mean, what for?
Why not?
This is my good side, though. I'm glad y'all are getting it.
Oh, that don't mean you have a bad side, though, right?
Yeah, I do have a bad side.
You do have a bad side?
He was alright.
Yeah. Blue line flags everywhere here in Mississippi, too. Yeah. These people over here, like, anywhere, it's just the street. There ain't, like, we're just taking pictures. I love pictures. Don't you like taking pictures of different towns you visit? Oh, you don't? You don't take pictures at all? You don't?
No. Why y'all taking pictures? They can't take pictures around?
Wait, what's your name?
Huh? I didn't hear that. Don't go on that way. I can't hear you.
We need to get on that way. What's your
Don't
name?
need to leave.
What's your name? What's your
Don't
name?
need to know my name.
I don't need to know your name. Are you sure about that? You work for the state of Mississippi? You work for the jail? You have a sheriff's cert on, so yeah. It means you would work for the state of Mississippi as well.
Would you please calm down?
I'm gonna take some pictures and then I'll leave. Huh? Yeah.
You need to stay away from videoing in our cars. You do not video in our cars. That is our private vehicles.
What's your name?
None of your business. What's your name?
Which one?
I don't like to give my name.
Y'all looking in both of these vehicles. No, ma'am.
Am I in that? Am I in that car? Am I in that car?
That's our personal business.
De-escalate for one.
Well, first of all, you need to get away from our vehicles.
Is this public or private property?
It's public property, but that's private vehicles.
So you're saying what,
So
what
you
I can't see with my eye, I can
cannot
record.
stay
I
in
can
my
record
vehicle.
anything I can see with my eye.
Well,
And that's why y'all should be doing everything right now. Y'all don't even know who we are. That's the thing.
that's exactly right. You
Right,
need to
right.
tell us who you are.
But you don't come
If
out and
you're
escalate.
going
You don't come
in
out here
our
yelling at the
vehicle.
public. You don't come out here yelling at the public either.
Well, you don't go in my vehicle looking.
Was I in your vehicle? Was I in your
No,
vehicle?
you were
Was I?
looking in 'em. Well, that
I can
is
look
the same
and
thing.
record anything I can see from a public eye. See, y'all need to learn the law out here. Apparently, y'all don't know the law
They
very
need
well.
to get off the property is what they need to do.
This is
Because they gonna
public
look in my
property.
vehicle
This
one
is
more time,
public property.
and I'm gonna
Listen to
file
this lady
charges
right
on
here.
it.
Plain view doctrine.
Y'all must be liberals or something.
The only people out here breaking the law right now is y'all.
I'm not breaking a law.
You coming out here yelling at us like you think you
because
own us.
you're looking in vehicles that is private vehicles.
We're allowed to record anything we see from public.
Look, first thing, talking and yelling ain't against the law, okay?
No, it's not.
And y'all looking in personal vehicles, that's against the law, okay?
That's called
Now,
plain
listen,
view doctrine.
Listen,
That's
listen,
plain-
listen,
You gonna
listen.
shut
your mouth and listen.
I'm not going to shut my mouth and listen. No, it's not like
Would you
that. No,
listen to
I
me?
could stand out here. I could walk through this
Listen.
parking lot. Why do
Listen.
I got to listen to you?
Because if it's a person like personal vehicles, that's against no, that's a no.
That is
If
not a
it's-
no-no.
If it's our vehicle.
Do y'all use
like the
plain view?
sheriff-
Do y'all, whenever y'all walk into people's car, when you pull them over, do you not, or not look in that vehicle, use the plain view doctrine? We can look and record and see, if we can see it from public, we can record it from public.
The officers claim that it is illegal for the auditors to film inside private vehicles, and Mr. Telos argues that they're permitted to do so under the so-called plain view doctrine. As typically used in case law, the so-called plain view doctrine refers to an exception to the warrant requirement of the Fourth Amendment that allows officers to seize evidence and contraband that they observe in so-called plain view from a lawful vantage point. However, First Amendment advocates sometimes refer to the First Amendment right to film in public as the right to record and photograph anything in plain view, which seems to be the meaning that Mr. Telos intends here. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over Mississippi, held in the 2017 case of Turner versus Driver that the First Amendment protects a broad so-called right to film, in addition to a particular right to film the police, explaining that, now quoting, "The Supreme Court has long recognized that the First Amendment protects film. A corollary to this principle is that the First Amendment protects the act of making film, as there is no fixed First Amendment line between the act of creating speech and the speech itself. Additionally, courts have consistently held that citizens have no reasonable expectation of privacy in public, although the vast majority of this case law discusses whether a law enforcement officer violated the Fourth Amendment, not whether private individuals have a First Amendment right to film something. For instance, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals determined in the 2020 case of Roundtree versus Lopinto that, quote, "There is no reasonable expectation of privacy in a shared apartment parking lot." In reaching this conclusion, the court cited the Supreme Court's decision in the 1999 case of Florida versus White, which held that a warrantless seizure, now quote, "did not involve any invasion of privacy because the police seized a vehicle from its owner's employer's parking lot, which the court described as a public area. Accordingly, as long as the parking lot was open to the public, it seems likely that a court would conclude the auditors filming the interior of the vehicles that were visible to the general public did not violate any reasonable expectation of privacy."
Y'all are just gonna look really super bad right now. Y'all don't have no clue who we are. What's your name and badge number?
Right here.
It's right here? You know what I mean? What's your badge number?
20.
20. And what's your name and badge number?
My name's Cole and it's Walthall 4.
Yours?
Daily, and it's Walthall 107.
That's great. And can I go and get your name and badge number?
Smith.
Smith?
All 15.
All right.
I've already met you.
Well, you've already met me. Yeah, smoking in a city car. You know, that's not the greatest thing either.
You know what?
Don't approach me. Please don't get near me.
I'm gonna let you know. Okay, there's no policy against that.
Okay.
Sheriff's Department has no policy, so you're making an issue over something that's not there.
We pay for those
what
cars.
you need to do
is not get off this
the
property.
Yes, you do. This is a
This is
restricted
public
area. No.
Where's the signs?
This
I did
is
not
a
see not
prison.
one sign. I did not see one
This
sign restricting
is
this
a
area.
prison.
If there's no signs restricting an area as public property, we're allowed to walk on that property. See, y'all don't know the law very well. See, this is what we're out here to do, is to educate.
Okay,
Show me one sign. Show me one sign
I'm
that
going to
says.
educate you now. Are you the warden of this
Yes, I
facility?
am.
That's great.
Is he
Congratulations.
trespassing?
Yes, he
Oh,
is.
I'm trespassing.
Leave the premises.
I'm trespassing on
Leave
public
the
property.
premises.
Okay, let me ask you this: if I
Leave the premises.
if I do not leave, will I be arrested? That's all I need.
You were told you were trespassing.
But
Leave the
I'm on public
premises.
property. You can't be trespassed from public property unless you're breaking the law. What law am I breaking? What law am I breaking?
Because he was looking at our
That's not against the law. That is plain view doctrine.
He
It could be
actually had his
seen from
camera
public. It could be,
looking inside.
if it could be seen from public, it could be filmed from public. This is what we're trying to get across.
And
Do y'all want to
there's
look
no
bad or do y'all want to
reason
look good
that
at this
we
point?
can't stop people
I want
from
you to
looking
get
at
off the
vehicles. That's
property.
probable
Public
cause.
property?
A
Correct.
correctional
Correct.
facility.
You're
Get off
100%
the
right.
property, sir, or you will be arrested for trespassing.
That's all I needed to hear. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. That's what exactly.
Go.
Don't. I'm walking.
And don't go and
I'm
don't
walking.
come back on this property.
I'm walking.
Officer Smith orders the auditors to leave the jail parking lot or they will be arrested for trespassing. The relevant state trespassing statute, which is found in section 97-17-97 of the Mississippi Code, provides that if an individual remains in or upon, quote, any building, premises, or land of another without legal authority to do so, after being forbidden to do so by any authorized person, they are guilty of trespass. There is limited case law interpreting this statute, but although the statute does not explicitly state state that it applies to government-owned public property, it is possible that a court would conclude that a citizen can be convicted of trespassing on property owned by Walthall County. It should also be noted that nothing in the statute requires signage restricting access, as long as they have been informed by an authorized person that they must leave the premises. Mr. Telos also argues that they cannot be trespassed from public property if they have not broken the law. Now, although the First Amendment protects the right to film, the fact that an individual is engaging in a protected activity does not necessarily mean that that individual has an absolute right to remain at a government building. As the Supreme Court explained in the 1965 case of Cox versus Louisiana, quote, "The rights of free speech and assembly, while fundamental in our democratic society, still do not mean that everyone with opinions or beliefs to express may address a group at any public place and at any time." Additionally, in the 1981 case of United States Postal Service versus Council of Greenberg Civic Associations, the Supreme Court stated that, quote, "The First Amendment does not guarantee access to property simply because it is owned or controlled by the government." Finally, in the 1966 case of Adderley versus Florida, the Supreme Court determined that a jail was not open to the public and that protesters who refused to leave facility grounds could be convicted under the state trespassing statute, despite the fact that they were engaged in First Amendment activity. In reaching this conclusion, the court noted that, quote, "The demonstrators entered the jail grounds through a driveway used only for jail purposes and without warning to or permission from the sheriff," and that, now quoting again, "The state, no less than a private owner of property, has power to preserve the property under its control for the use to which it is lawfully dedicated." Accordingly, if a court determined that the jail parking lot was a restricted area that was not open to the public, it could also conclude that Mr. Telos and Ms. Garner could constitutionally be arrested for trespassing if they refused to leave.
Now, everybody has tried to be nice, and
And
everybody
was
has
I raising
tried
my
to
voice?
be,
And was I raising my
and
voice?
everybody
And was I
has
raising my
tried to
voice?
be
Was I
helpful
raising
with
my
what
voice?
y'all are doing.
Was I raising my voice? Was I being belligerent? Was I
Get
being?
off the
I
property.
am walking off the property, and if I am moving that direction, I'm moving that direction. This is public
This is
property.
As far,
Are
no,
you lieutenant?
It's public
this
property,
is as far as you can go, because this is a correctional facility.
which makes it public property.
No.
Oh my God!
When you start dealing with correctional facilities, you are dealing with a restricted
Do people come?
area.
Do people? We got to cam back. Don't erase that because I'm going to get that footage.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the
You
First
have
Amendment.
a
It does
press-
mean because
you
it's
have
none
a
of his
trespass.
business.
First Amendment.
From what newspaper?
No, it's
From the
not
First
a jail.
Amendment.
We're basically
Everybody is pressed.
right. I'm the ward.
What are the 5 elements of the
Get
First
off the
Amendment?
property.
We're not on the property no more.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
staying
you
right
are.
here.
Get on that road out there. This
I
is
think-
property. Get
Are
on
you
that
sure?
road.
Are you
yes,
sure
I
this is
am.
public?
Yes, I am.
You're sure
That
this
is
is- oh,
that
lady,
is
you need to
public.
back
This is
up.
private.
This is Ward
Make
and
sure you
Fanny.
spell it
Excuse me.
right. Spell it right.
Excuse me.
Look at these.
Good.
Look at these tyrants out here. We're,
Sir, get in the road. I know
so you want
what
us to?
you're
So you want us to
trying
get on?
do.
You want us
It's
to get on
not
the
gonna
road?
work.
You want us to get on the? You want us to be unsafe and be on the road? Okay. Listen to these. They're ready to throw us down on the ground and arrest us. Listen to these people. Rights violation right there. That's a rights violation right there.
And that's why we went in and got an officer complaint.
Exactly. All right, y'all. We're getting out of Walthall County. This is the sheriff's department. The jail's right behind it. We're in a non-restricted area. There was no signs. We clearly see the tyrannical behavior out here from the jailers and the sheriff's departments, willing to go hands-on and throw somebody in jail for doing absolutely nothing wrong. We're going to definitely have to come to a follow-up.
In a video posted on May 10th, 2023, Mr. Telos and Ms. Garner returned to the Walthall County Sheriff's Office to file complaints and a records request. Upon returning to the facility, Mr. Telos observed a new restricted area sign outside the jail parking lot. The auditors also spoke to Sheriff Kyle Breland, who admitted that he was unaware of the lack of signs restricting access to the parking lot, and agreed that at the time of the previous audit, it was open to the public. Mr. Telos also indicated that he intends to file a civil rights lawsuit once he receives the records from his request. Overall, the Walthall County employees get an F for maintaining hostile and combative demeanors throughout the encounter, demonstrating a lack of knowledge regarding expectations of privacy in public, and failing to respect the auditor's First Amendment rights. It is unclear to me why the county employees reacted so negatively to the auditor's filming, and the violently aggressive response to the auditor's auditors filming the vehicles was confusingly severe, particularly given the fact that any member of the public could see inside the windows of the vehicles at any time. The officers' assertions that the filming was quote-unquote illegal was also baffling, considering the clear First Amendment protections given to filming and the lack of a statute prohibiting such conduct. On the whole, the county employees, including the law enforcement officers, seemed entirely unprepared to respond appropriately to First Amendment auditors, and I hope that this encounter served as a learning opportunity for everyone involved. Mr. Telos and Ms. Garner get an A-, because although Mr. Telos may have overstated the protections given to First Amendment activity in a jail parking lot, the auditors remained relatively calm and respectful throughout their interactions with the Walthall County employees and took appropriate actions to pursue accountability after the encounter. It is encouraging that the sheriff's office took steps to clarify the restricted nature of the jail parking lot by putting up signs as a result of the dispute with the auditors. And hopefully, these signs will help prevent future confusion over whether the parking lot is public. This encounter demonstrates how auditors can bring awareness to potential issues that government employees were previously unaware of or have overlooked by simply performing an audit. And Mr. Telos and Ms. Garner should be proud of the impact they had here. Let's move on to the second encounter. On October 31st, 2022, Officer Jacob Howell of the Daytona Beach Police Department, who was later joined by Officer Brian Jefferson, responded to a complaint by Devin Sanfilippo of Daytona Beach, Florida, about her neighbor, Bohdan Vyasevic's music. The interaction that followed was captured on Officer Howell and Officer Jefferson's body cameras.
This is a
that
public
silver car right
service.
there?
Yeah,
White guy?
yeah,
Yeah, he sucks.
he does.
I've dealt with him. He's really.
He is.
Yeah.
But this time he jumped out of his car at me because I walked over just to be a nice neighbor this time.
Yeah.
And before I said, would you please turn your music down? He threw his lit cigarette at me, jumped out of the car. I had my German Shepherd with me, and he started yelling at me and told me, abusive language. And
Did the cigarette hit you?
no.
Did he threaten you in any way?
Just his movements. But is it true that they can play their music as loud as they want to until 11 o'clock?
The ordinance is after 11, but if he's disturbing the peace, then I'm going to go have a talk with him. I've talked to him before. He's always.
He is.
Yeah. I don't care if I'm on camera saying I don't like him.
Yeah.
He's always very rude.
He is.
He's in his car so I can hear him.
And my window is my bedroom window. I can't go to sleep.
Yeah, actually, yeah. We can throw that on him.
Please do.
Because I hear it. So, I'm going to wait for my partner.
Trust me. He turns it up louder.
I know. I'm going to wait for my partner because he's always very aggressive.
Yes, he is.
So, last time we almost got in a fight with him. So, if he continues that, then he might be. We're trying to find a reason to take him to
I would
jail.
love that.
You sure he didn't do anything in any way? Other than the cigarette?
He just frightened me because
How so?
he jumped out of the car and he came walking towards
You
me.
think he's going to hit you?
I don't know what. He just acts real funny.
Officer Howell asks Ms. Sanfilippo whether she thought that Mr. Vyasevic was going to hit her when he jumped out of the car and came walking towards her. It seems that Officer Howell is attempting to determine whether Mr. Vyasevic's actions could be considered assault in violation of Section 784.011 of the Florida statutes, which states that, quote, an assault is an intentional, unlawful threat by word or act to do violence to the person of another, coupled with an apparent ability to do so, and doing some act which creates a well-founded fear in such other person that such violence is imminent. Now, although Ms. Sanfilippo did not claim that she was in fear of violence, in the 2020 case of Daniels versus State, the First District Court of Appeal of Florida concluded, quote, that whether the victim actually testifies that he or she was in fear is not conclusive of the fear element, as long as a reasonable person would experience a well-founded fear of imminent harm. As such, it is certainly possible that a court could conclude that Mr. Vyasevic's conduct in jumping out of his car, throwing his cigarette, and approaching Ms. Sanfilippo aggressively could constitute an implied threat of physical violence that could cause a reasonable person to fear that harm was imminent, regardless of whether or not Ms. Sanfilippo was actually afraid.
Stay right there. Yo, Brian, hold up. He said he hopped out of the car at her.
He hopped out at her?
Yeah. I'm trying to take it. I hate this guy.
You know him?
Yeah, we almost fought him last time. Okay. Almost ID himself. Okay. Oh, we have to. I've heard his music, so I can give him a citation.
Well, let's do it.
But if he doesn't give us our ID, then he's going to jail.
Okay.
Hey, yeah, what's up? Same face around. I know. How's it going, man? Pretty good, dude. Is it good? Yeah, you haven't learned your lesson. Get away from me.
What you looking at? Why you got
5/8 inch for copy
so
40
close
times.
up here?
Because your music's louder than more than 25 feet.
The state of Florida
Does not
says.
matter.
The state of
The
Florida.
city of Daytona
No,
Beach
I'm
says
lower
otherwise.
body than Caesar's.
Get the out of my face.
No,
too.
get out of my face.
Alright, cool.
Get on your stomach. Get on your stomach.
Wow. Wow, I didn't say nothing to you. Wow. Hey, Jill.
Get on your stomach. Give me your arm.
What's your badge?
Give me your arm. Give me
What's your badge? No. Oh my God, no. I ain't breaking no law. Hey, what you doing?
Back up.
No,
Back up.
no.
Hey,
No.
give me your hand, you understand?
Hey, man.
Give me your hand, you understand?
No.
Give him your hand or you're going to get tased.
No. I need to. You see it?
Give him your hand.
Theater. We got the witness up here. It's like.
After Mr. Vyasevic refuses multiple times to allow the officers to handcuff him, Officer Jefferson tases him. In the 2021 case of Prosper versus Martin, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over Florida, noted that the court had previously held that, quote, the use of a taser gun to subdue a suspect who has repeatedly ignored police instructions and continues to act belligerently toward police is not excessive force. Likewise, in the 2012 case of Draper versus Reynolds, the 11th Circuit determined that the single use of a taser to subdue a hostile, belligerent, and uncooperative suspect who refused to comply with verbal commands was not excessive force. As such, it is improbable that a court would find that tasing Mr. Vyasevic in these circumstances was constitutionally excessive force.
What's your badge and number? I'll shoot the out of you.
You'll shoot me? Alright.
Yeah. Nope, I ain't gonna shoot you.
Alright.
I'll shoot you. I'll shoot you.
You'll shoot me? Alright.
You're breaking the law.
No, I'm not.
You're a public servant.
You want to get in my face, man? You want to act like a big bad guy?
Servant.
You
I'm not breaking no law. 8
We have to call him for
years
taser
I've
when
been
it's not
staying
at
in this
deployment.
country. You guys
No, just
trying
call
to
you.
put me out for nothing. You
5-6
guys trying to put me in jail for nothing. Like second time. Hey, I'll shoot you. I'll shoot you. What the what am I being arrested for? Record this. I ain't breaking the law. The state of Florida allows me to listen to my music till 11 p.m.
Now when it's out of more
not
than
even
25
11
feet in the city of
p.m., it's
Daytona.
20 minutes more after that.
You can quote that all you want, man.
It's more.
You're going to jail tonight.
What's your badge number?
We don't have bad numbers.
No, oh, you don't got no badge number.
Yeah, I got it.
You have to file the report, right? All the witnesses, all the arrested officers.
You'll get a copy.
Hey, I'm been in this country for 8 years, and I got a clean record. I ain't selling no.
I know you've been arrested
I ain't
before.
selling.
Your record ain't clean.
Hey, nope. What's your badge number?
Yeah, you guys are residents here, right?
You're supposed to.
You guys
you
are
don't have
residents
to
here, right?
push me like that, man.
Stop. Yanking on me.
Record this.
Recorded.
Those guys are getting fired because they're acting that way for nothing.
What's your name?
What you put me in car for?
What's your name?
No, you don't have to put your feet on me like that, man. Oh.
Alright, you're just gonna get another charge.
No.
Man.
Oh. I'm still waiting for the court where you guys pick me up. Remember that stuff? You pushing my feet on me, bro.
Cause you keep moving.
Keep that feet off me. Keep that feet on me. You're pushing me to the floor.
Cause you like
I'm already
to get in
cuffed.
my face.
You got a wallet on you, man?
Mr. Vyasevic asks Officer Howe why he took him to the ground, and Officer Howe states that it was because he, quote-unquote, came at him and, quote-unquote, got in his face. However, the body camera footage shows that when Officer Howe initiated force against Mr. Vyasevic, he had just stepped away from Officer Howe while directing disrespectful language at him, suggesting that Officer Howe may have decided to arrest Mr. Vyasevic in retaliation for his speech in violation of the First Amendment.
Get the out of my face.
Out of my face.
Alright.
No, I'm lower body than Caesar's.
Get the out of my face.
No,
too.
get out of my face.
Alright, cool.
Nonetheless, in the 2019 case of Nieves versus Bartlett, the Supreme Court held that the probable existence of probable cause for any arrest defeats a retaliatory arrest claim, regardless of an officer's subjective motivations for the arrests. Because a court would likely conclude that the officers had probable cause to arrest Mr. Vyasevic for a noise violation, if not assault, it is unlikely that Mr. Vyasevic would be able to succeed if he were to pursue a retaliatory arrest claim against Officer Howell.
What's his name? He's going to jail, so he's going to get another charge if he doesn't want to ID himself.
What's your badge numbers, guys? Please, I'm getting hurt. I'm getting hurt. I'm getting hurt.
Stop moving.
You're pushing me like that. I ain't doing nothing wrong. I've been listening to my music till the state of Florida says me I'm allowed to do so.
Do you want to sit on your butt or you want to lay like that? Do you want to sit on your butt or lay like that?
Hey, please listen. I didn't break the fucking law. What the you put the handcuffs on me, man?
I'm not here to argue.
Because somebody don't like me, this guy who packed me up for nothing, like 2 months ago.
When he tried to fight us?
Nope, I didn't try.
You got in my face, man. I told you to get back, and you wanted to keep walking toward me.
Hey,
That's why you're on the
I didn't
ground.
break the law right now. You can say whatever the you want. I'll shoot the out of you.
Cool, you threatened me
I'm trying
like
to
5
get back
times
to my
now.
CDL school.
What happened?
So, we get a call from that lady over there saying this guy, I walked up to his music's blaring.
Okay.
And she's like, she wanted him to turn the music down. Just a noise complaint. I've been out with this guy before. He's always very aggressive. Came over there. He gets out of the car. He's flipping her off, doing this. He said that he flipped a cigarette at the lady, and he hopped out at the lady.
Okay.
And she felt threatened. When I get out with him, he gets out. He starts advancing towards me. I said, "You get the back." One kept advancing, took him down,
And you put the cuffs on me.
and then he kept arming, and so Brian had to drive stun him.
Okay.
He wouldn't listen to our commands. Wouldn't give me his hand.
So what are we charging him with?
I ain't got no possession charge.
I mean, were you here conducting a lawful investigation?
Yeah, he was in violation of playing his music was audible more than 25 feet.
Okay. So were you gave him a lawful order while doing your lawful investigation. Sounds like you got RA.
Mr. Vyasevic was charged with resisting an officer without violence and 2 counts of making threats against a law enforcement officer. He remained in jail for 18 days until he pled no contest to the charges on November 17, 2022, when he was found guilty and released on time served. At the time of this encounter, Mr. Vyasevic was out on bond for several pending charges, and on the same day, he also pled no contest to another count of resisting, as well as charges of drug possession and driving an unregistered motor vehicle stemming from a previous arrest. Overall, Officer Howell and Officer Jefferson get an F for maintaining a disrespectful and unprofessional demeanor throughout the encounter, demonstrating a clear bias against Mr. Vyasevic, and using unnecessary force by taking Mr. Vyasevic to the ground when he was not being physically combative or attempting to flee. Officer Howell admitted multiple times that he quote-unquote hated Mr. Vyasevic, and even told Ms. Sanfilippo that he would try to find a reason to arrest Mr. Vyasevic. And although Officer Howell originally told Mr. Vyasevic that he took him to the ground because he quote-unquote came at him, which was false, he later stated in an affidavit for the criminal charges against Mr. Vyasevic that he was quote-unquote escorted to the ground because he, quote, opposed officers by disobeying commands given by officers during an investigation and breaking away from officer while being detained, which is also false. And while it is unlikely that Mr. Vyasevic would be able to succeed in a retaliatory arrest lawsuit due to the existence of probable cause, it seems clear that Officer Howell's actions in this encounter were largely motivated by his stated dislike of Mr. Vyasevic, and that the decision to quote-unquote escort Mr. Vyasevic to the ground was at least in part a reaction to his offensive speech. Mr. Vyasevic also gets an F for behaving belligerently throughout the interaction, demonstrating a clear lack of respect for his neighbors and his community, and threatening to quote-unquote shoot the officers multiple times. While I do not agree with much of the officers' conduct in this encounter, I also believe that they had probable cause to arrest Mr. Vyasevic, and I cannot endorse his actions in blasting his music and seemingly attempting to intimidate his neighbor when she complained about the noise. Likewise, it goes without saying that it is not only foolish to threaten to use deadly force against law enforcement officers, but criminal, and I hope that Mr. Vyasevic will behave more appropriately in future encounters with the police. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out my second channel for even more police interaction content.